this. Okay. Setting up. And then the deadline to...
We're now streaming live on Facebook.
Yay! Awesome.
So I will take a minute here to share the stream on my personal.
Yeah, I'm going to do... Okay, perfect.
And now we're just chilling. Just hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you? I'm glad you got your grocery shopping done.
Oh, it's showing up like this.
Oh, that's so odd.
Oh no, just kidding. Oh. Everybody could see that.
And then your voice.
We have like 13 people watching. Yeah, but that is strange.
Whoa! Aw, Gina's on.
Aw, that's my cousin.
She's so great. Oh my gosh. She lit dropped like the entire south side, like Midvale Park.
She did awesome.
She's amazing.
I know. I love it. She came the other day while I was on a Zoom and I was in the middle of...
Oh, is she the one that was like...
Yeah, and I was in the middle of a scheduled, like, my Monson family was like, they were like in the middle of toasting me, and she comes and it was totally like a moment like when I won, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do. And I'm so unaccustomed to people ringing my doorbell anymore. I'm just like it's shocking. It's like, who's here? It's very surprising. So, hi everybody. We're just kind of getting set up. We're trying to do this a little more casually than we usually do. Usually we have a whole team behind us and we have somebody typing out captions. We're going to upload those later. We usually have somebody running technical for us. We're like, we can totally do this just by ourselves. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. How's everybody doing? Tell us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're Facebook Live. And I can kind of see some of this, but also can't read and talk at the same time. Can't be filmed and talk at the same time.
And that's why you got me. Ooh, and I'm going to exit out of that because that's annoying.
Gina, she's like, every street was Oak something.
Hi, Kurt. Oh my gosh, this is so cute.
I know already. This is. I'm looking on my phone at the comments as I'm on camera, which is something I never do. So this is kind of cool. But we just wanted to. I know, like this is amazing. But we wanted to make sure that we took some time today to talk about some of the concerns that we've been getting. We've been getting so many emails, text messages, phone calls, Facebook messages, Instagram questions, even TikTok questions about what's happening with voting by mail. So we wanted to take some time today to talk about that. Make sure you have a pen. Get these dates ready. And we're going to be putting out this information as it comes. But one of the things, first of all, we absolutely support vote by mail. It's still the best option. And we want to make sure that people are feeling confident and feeling secure about those ballots. If you haven't signed up to vote by mail, you can still do that. You can go to servicearizona.com. We're going to drop that. Who is going to drop that link? Maria is totally going to put that link in the chat. But you can go to servicearizona.com. Even if you're already registered, you can go there. That's like the easiest way. Otherwise, you can call the recorder's office or do it online through the recorder's office. But the best way is just to go through the servicearizona.com website. And anybody can sign up for it. It's really nice. You get your ballot. It will be mailed out on Wednesday, October 7th. It'll come to you. We're not foreseeing too many big delays, so we are expecting your ballot to arrive at your home just a few days after October 7th. This past cycle, people got them the very next day, which was really exciting. But then you'll have it for what we're hoping, and this is why we wanted to make sure that we took the time to talk to you all, is we're hoping that you get it and you fill it out and you send it right back. This election is going to be so much easier for you to do than the primary. The primary election is usually what you're doing is you're deciding your party's best candidate to represent you. And so sometimes that might mean you have 3 Democrats running for the same office, and you have to decide which one is the best one to keep. And then who is going to go up against the other party. And so what we're doing right now is it's literally going to be each party's representatives. And for the most part, it's going to be Democrats and, against Republicans, and very few races there will be some Green Party members. There's also going to be school board members, and they are nonpartisan, meaning that they don't have a party. So those are people that you should be looking into. There's a lot of forums that are going on right now where people are talking about what they believe in and what their values are, which is very exciting. But it should be pretty clear cut. One of the places where people struggle the most in a general election is going to be with the judges. One important thing to know about that is the judges, we're not voting them in. They're appointed, and then we vote to keep them in. So it's kind of a strange system. And honestly, if you feel like you're not informed enough, you can skip that section. But otherwise, we want you to fill out every single area and vote for every single person and initiative on the ballot. One of the important things to know is I might be on the back of the ballot. I'm going to be really low. They call that down ballot. So there's top of the ballot, and then there's everything else. And sometimes people will go in and they'll only vote for the president and then just like walk out. We need people to start at the top, or actually sometimes people say start at the bottom and work your way all the way back up to the top. And we need you to vote Democrat the whole way, whether you are excited or not. We need you to vote Democratic. We also are going to be putting out information about propositions that are coming out. So one of the really exciting ones, I'm so excited to hear that the Invest in Ed made it to the ballot. They tried to kick it off. And it is something that's going to restore billions of dollars into education in Arizona. And it's only going to be taxed the super rich. Only if you make over $250,000 a year are you going to be taxed. So, we're in big support of that as well. You will have, you'll have like 4 weeks to get your ballots back. If you mail them. Oh, you have a question?
Ooh. We have someone, so Paul Stapleton Smith.
Yes,
we have a lot of people
Paul,
on with us.
I miss you, Paul. I'm not
we
even
have so many
that.
friends on.
Yes.
Paul has a really good question about that Pima Community College has an initiative on the ballot, and it's one of 2 statewide initiatives. Would you please explain what we'll see on our ballots?
I don't know about that one yet. So we're in the last very recent couple of days. They have been finalizing what is going to be on your ballot, and also assigning proposition numbers. So I just heard, I think just yesterday, what the proposition for the Invest in Ed initiative was, and I don't remember it off the top of my head. So we're going to make sure that we have that information, and the same with the Pima Community College. I hadn't heard about that one, Paul. But that's really exciting.
And he made a really good point, just saying that everyone's ballots will look different depending on the districts that we live in. And there's so many different districts with different geographical boundaries that we can have so many versions of a ballot, even just within Pima County.
Right. So I live in Congressional District 2, which means I'm represented right now by Ann Kirkpatrick. And I also live in Legislative District 9, which means I'm represented by Senator Victoria Steele and Representatives Pam Powers Hanley and Dr. Randy Freeze. And really nice thing for me is all three of them are incumbents and all three of them are running and all three of them are great and progressive. So it'll be really easy for me. I'm just going to go through and mark all the Democrats in my area. And so it does depend on where you live. You can take a look at which districts you look at. I'm sorry, which ones you live in. We're going to put in a link. I think it's find your legislative district, find your district. And it'll actually take you to the redistricting commission page, and you can take a look there. And it's really nice because you can see what school districts you live in, which legislative districts, which congressional districts, which county. Most people know their county, but they don't feel bad if you don't know your legislative district. I don't think that I really understood what a legislative district was until I started getting more involved and staring at maps. One interesting thing that's going to happen is we are right now trying to do this final push for the census, right? Well, all of those lines are dependent on population, and all of that is dependent on who responds on the census. And so there's going to be a redistricting that happens next year from the data that we collect this year. But we're very concerned about it because normally we have people knocking on doors, trying to figure out, going door to door, trying to figure out who lives in what homes and all of that. And because of COVID, like the door knocking thing has been really delayed. They're starting to do it now, but they're really, really delayed. So make sure that you're filling out your census and make sure that you check in with your family members and that they filled out their census. But Maria, what else did we want to talk about?
Oh,
are there any more questions?
There aren't any questions right now. Everyone's saying hi and everyone's very happy to see you.
I'm gonna look and see.
Yeah. And you can fill out the census online this year. It's the first year they're doing that, right?
Oh, okay. Mine wasn't uploading, so I didn't see all of these. Oh, yes, Cecilia.
Yeah.
Cecilia, I hope to see you on Tuesday. There's going to be a protest in support, or an action to support the post office on Tuesday. And I don't have the information. Cecilia, I need you to drop it in there because I know she'll be there. But we want to make sure that we're also supporting the post office. Right now, part of what's happening, this is so crazy. So the post office is a government service. It's written into our Constitution. And it's supposed to be a service that is available to everyone. You know, you think about the rural areas and you think about where FedEx does or doesn't deliver to, or where UPS delivers to or doesn't deliver to. A lot of that's rural, and we're partially rural county here in Pima County. So we absolutely need the post office. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to shake the confidence that you have in the post office so that they can privatize it. And privatization is exactly what it sounds like. To make something private means only a few people benefit, and only a few people will make money off of that. as opposed to a government service that is supposed to be there for everyone, for important correspondence, for medicine, for all of those things. And so we absolutely want to make sure that we're supporting the post office. And so we're going to be there, hopefully be there on Tuesday. So I'm hoping one of my people will throw that out there. So many. Oh, Kelly, yay!
Yes.
Dora and Jean and Lupe. Lupe just won a. There was a Young Democrats, YDAZ, Young Democrats of Arizona election today, and Lupe is now an elected official in the Young Democrats. I heard
Ooh.
that today, which is really cool. So we're just wanted to make sure that we were checking in with everybody, and we wanted to talk a little bit about the vote by mail stuff. Um, Again, you're going to have almost 4 weeks to return your ballot. And if you're feeling like, we don't want to mail it back. Number one, if you get it and you fill it out and you're just like, all right, I'm going to fill it out for all the Democrats. And yes, all the Democrats. And I know that there's been a lot of conversation. A lot of people are not excited about maybe the top of the ticket, right? Just going to be real here. There's one presidential candidate who supports vote by mail, who believes in the expansion of vote by mail and accessibility. And there is another presidential candidate who is telling us that it's a fraud and that there is concerns about it, which my job, once I am elected, will be having to do with early voting. It literally will make my job harder if Donald Trump makes it back in office. It will literally make my job more difficult, and we have the potential of having more disenfranchised people, meaning people who are not able to cast their ballots if Donald Trump makes it back in. And he has a really good shot of making it back in again. So I need you to vote for the Democrats, from the very top to the very bottom. There are no other options in this. You're not going to find a better representative in that party. And I haven't seen any situations where there is maybe like a Republican candidate who has a much more positive message over a Democrat. I have not seen that yet. And for Green Party, I only know of like 2 spots where Green Party are running, but I don't know enough about those campaigns. There's not enough support there. And then Libertarians, they were completely not on the ballot at all. They didn't make it. So if you are not feeling comfortable dropping off your ballot, you will be able to do an early ballot drop off where there's going to be sites. We're going to put that information in the chat as well. And we're going to make sure that you know that you can drop off your ballot at any early voting site. This past cycle, they had it so that all you had to do was drive up, and there was somebody waiting outside with a canopy, and they were there with a box, and they took your ballot right there. You didn't even have to get out of the car. Sometimes if you choose to walk inside, you can do that. But usually you're driving right by. And sorry, my kid's getting ice, the ice maker. And if you're not able to make it to an early voting site, because they are kind of far, there isn't as many early voting sites as there are regular voting locations or polling locations. But on election day, if you have your mail ballot, you can always just drop it off. You can always just walk inside, and anybody who is in your household who has a ballot. So if you have, for me and my my children and my husband. If the four of us, if only one of us wanted to go because we all live together, we would be able to walk in. And usually you don't have to do anything. Actually, you're not checking in. You're not writing your name down. You're not showing ID. If you drop off your ballot on election day, they will literally just point out the box where you go, and you walk up and you put it in the receptacle and you walk away. And so it's really easy. It's really, we are going to be able to cast our ballots. Your ballots will be counted. But we just wanted to make sure that we were talking to people about it, because there are a lot of people who are very scared and who are very worried. This really highlights the need for us to protect our votes and to elect good people, because it's the people that we are electing who are making these decisions that are making our lives harder during a pandemic. And so, again, uh, we need you. We need you out there.
And
Maria, what are your
luckily,
thoughts?
Arizona has been doing vote by mail for over 20 years, and we have this great infrastructure and system that is already set up to have ballots mailed. And
Right.
so we luckily there's no concerns in Arizona about what's going on with what might happen with the U.S. Postal Service. Go on.
Right. And so it's I think that you're going to see a lot of articles going out about this, and you have to realize that we are very lucky. 2 decades of early voting happening here in Arizona, where the post office is accustomed to this, and there are systems in place that make this run very smoothly. And more than 80% of registered voters in Arizona are registered to vote by mail. So this is already a really great system. In other states, they're trying it for the very first time. So this is why it's a really big concern for some of those areas, because, this is, they're giving it a first try during this time. But we feel very confident. The last day that they're asking you to mail back your ballot will be a week before Election Day. And so we need you to take a look at your calendar right now, put in Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. That is Election Day. We want you to be thinking that far ahead, thinking about what you're doing that day. Is that a day that you would normally be working? Where would your children be? What time of day would you normally go vote? Who in your life do you know that is going to have a problem? Your sister, your cousin, your next door neighbor. Is somebody going to need a ride? And right now, again, we still have so much time to fix our voter registrations. If you had a problem, we don't want you thinking about it on November 2nd. We want you thinking about it now, so that you can call on Monday morning and talk to the recorder's office and find out, how can I make sure that that is not a problem the next time I vote.
There's a really good question from Dax. So Dax asked, what are 2 to 3 actions that we can take to help educate voters about this issue?
Ooh, well, we're going to be putting out a lot of information on our page really soon. And so we're going to ask that you share that information. We're also going to be doing a lot of phone banking and text banking eventually. But we need you, please sign up for our newsletter. We're going to be sending this out by email. And we need you to share and help us amplify that message. We need people to connect with others. Text the people that you normally text and say, like, hey, are you cool for voting? and engage them in a conversation. And I mean, seriously, it can be really formal, but it could be really informal too. And make sure that you're checking in with your family, your friends and your family, with your circle of people. I'm always reminded, I'm a voter super nerd. right? I live and breathe voting. I talk about it. I read articles. I listen to podcasts. I'm checking out websites. My sister, who I love dearly, she's not looking at any of that. She's not following, voting podcasts. She's not, reading books or articles about voting. Like,
She's
you
like
know,
enjoying her life.
like a normal human being, right? Like kind of nerd.
Exactly.
And so I want to make sure that my sister is okay. My sister Lisa, did you fill out the census? Like, come on, like I need to know. And I'll leave you alone. Um, one important thing to know is when you return your ballot early, so because there's like 28 days where once your ballot is sent out, you're going to get these phone calls, these text messages, all of these emails. All of that is dependent on information that goes to the recorder's office, and we get it back, and we cycle out people who have already voted so we know to not bother them. So if you wait until the very last day, you're going to get all of those phone calls. So if you don't want us calling, you don't want those text messages, you should return your ballot as soon as possible. But that I think is about it. I see that
There's
Paul Stapleton Smith did send me a thing. I can't
oh,
process that right now at this moment. Um,
that's perfect though. Now we know.
yeah, I didn't know about that. Thank you. And that's
Yeah.
important also. It's to make sure that you're um, finding trusted sources on what organizations are supporting which initiatives, which propositions, and learning more about those. Those can be really confusing. You'll see, yes, on you know, this one is Prop 481, providing flexibility to enhance and expand educational opportunities. So I think this probably has to do with, I don't know what this has to do with yet. I'm gonna research this, and I want to make sure that I'm reaching out to stakeholders and making sure that we find people who have a really good sense of the pros and the cons of these propositions, and trust in that. So you don't have to be a legal expert, although sometimes that's helpful. Some of these can be really
It's
tricky.
really difficult. Yeah.
Mhm. Um, but we're going to make sure that we have all that information ready so that people feel confident about it. And like I said, this time voting is going to be really easy. All of these candidates have already been vetted. They've made it through. It's kind of like there's a whole process. You start with declaring, and then you have to get a number of signatures, and then you have to make it through the primary, and now it's like the one candidate left standing per party then goes up against the other parties. And so it's a really easy choice this time. We you know I'm running as a Democrat. I need you to vote for the other Democrats. um
There's a couple other questions. So
yeah.
Cam is asking if you're going on KOHN to share your message. And I don't want to mispronounce what she's saying. So,
Oh, let me
but that
take
was,
a look.
yeah.
So Oh, Cam is a Cam is a frontline worker in medical. She works in Indian Health Services and cells, holding it down.
Oh my gosh.
And she's such a hard worker, and I'm so proud of you and so thankful for all that you do for our community. You are wonderful, and I really, really appreciate all of your hard work. Cam is asking if I'm going to go on KOHN. So KOHN.
Oh no, you froze. Gabby. Oh, you're like really frozen. Oh,
Am
there you
I?
are. There you go.
Okay. So don't worry, I'm now it tells me my internet cable is unstable. Whoops.
So
Okay.
KOHN is,
Let me into the Zoom, please.
yes.
And
Ooh, look at that.
ooh,
There's
I'm
two
on
of you.
multiple. There's multiple. Hello, everyone. I'm going to. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go.
I was about to just like kick you out.
No, I had to join the audio. Sorry about that, everybody. So we yeah, every once in a while my internet will just be a little funky and you know, whatever. Anyway, KOHN. So KOHN, if I go on, they have to it always has to be balanced. So they would have to hear from the Republican candidate and the Democratic candidate. So I cannot just go on by myself and just talk about this. It's a concern for their FEC, like to make sure that they're not able to, I don't know, that they're not open, like giving one person advantage or over the other. However, I will be going to, we're in the process of setting up district community meetings where I will be sharing a lot of this information at your district meetings. And I'll try to announce those before I go to them. Those, of course, are only open to members of that district. And I'm hoping that our tribal leaders will be able to share some of that information that I'm sharing there. So I really wish I could do more there. I can't, but also I am open to if there's a particular group of people that you need me to go talk to and we want to set up a Zoom. If there's a community organization that you're a part of and you want me to come speak, I am very happy to do that. I have so far gone and visited with the Raging Grannies and the Tohono Nation Youth Council and the Pasquayaki Youth Council, the Tucson Indian Youth Council, the Youth Justice Collective. A lot of young people want to make sure that they're really informed. Legislative District 9 Democrats, the Oro Valley Democrats. We have been all over the place and making sure that we are informing people of these questions that they might have and kind of trying to simplify it because it does get really overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And when you break it down and you have somebody walking you through, it's not as scary. So,
which is actually a really good segue because there's a question about from Jan, and they say that they're not concerned about their mail ballot. But they're concerned about what will happen to it after they put it in the mail. So since the Postal Service isn't under Pima County, but under the current federal regime, how are you confident, or how confident are you that it'll reach the recorder's office on time?
So we want to make sure that you are, I am not in office yet, so I do not have yet. So I do not have the ability to check in directly with these public officials at this time. But I did check in with Evan Rodriguez last week. And I have checked in. I was talking with Adrian Fontes the other day about this, or I heard him speak or something. Anyway, we are not seeing low as drastically as other places have been. There has been some slowing of mail, but it's slowing in like 2 or 3 days. It's not in weeks. And so we haven't heard any reports on that. I have not seen any reports. Please make sure that you're following
Secretary Katie Hobbs, her Facebook page and her website, as well as your local recorders. So if you are in Maricopa County, please follow Adrian Fontez's Facebook page. Is very informative, and he will make sure that you are being very informed. And then if you're in Pima County, please reach out to the recorder's office. Make sure that you're connecting with them. Don't rely on the information of others. So if you see something like, your cousin Rick saying they're not going to check our, they're not going to even count these ballots or something like that, call the recorder's office and ask them, what is really happening here. They are issuing statements to the press, and they are making sure that they're putting up press releases up on their website. So you can definitely check there. But we have not seen any, there's no indication at this time that is a major concern. But one thing I do want to share is that normally election officials recommend that you return your ballot no later than 5 days prior to an election. This time they're asking for 7 days. But if you think about how long it takes for a piece of mail to come from one side of town to another, or if you're in a rural area, we kind of automatically add an extra day. That's being taken into account, and it's more than generous. You can also make sure that you are tracking your ballot by visiting the Pima County website, and you can actually look to see if it's been received or not. And if on election day it hasn't been received, you can actually go in and you can vote by provisional ballot. A lot of people are really freaked out about provisional ballots. Like, what if their ballot never shows up at their home and there's nothing to return? If that happens, you always have the option of going and requesting a provisional ballot. Your provisional ballots, they only hold them long enough to make sure that you haven't submitted a different ballot somewhere else. And as long as you haven't, and it's eligible, and you've met all the requirements, they will count it. And so that's a very valid. We saw in my last election, we saw my percentage rate jump up from 62% to like 65% after they counted the provisional ballots, because that's how many they counted. So that's absolutely an option for you. And, at this time, we need to not panic.
There's another question about mail ballots. So Judith says that their concern is what was reported today. And I actually didn't see this. I don't know if you did. Across the country, more than 500,000 mail-in ballots were disqualified in the primaries this year. Do you know if that was a problem in Pima County?
I don't know that. I saw an article that Mayor Regina Romero posted online, and I hadn't had a chance to read it yet. I don't know that is a big problem, but we can absolutely keep an eye on that, and we will make sure that we're reporting back as much as we can. And for us, we're always making sure that whenever we amplify any messages, that we are checking in with the elected officials who are responsible for these offices. So at this time, that is F.Ann Rodriguez, that is Katie Hobbs, Secretary Katie Hobbs. We're making sure that we reach out, and we are making sure that we amplify only accurate information. So we don't want to be panicked at this time. We just need to know our options. And so if you're feeling uncomfortable about putting your mail ballot back in the mail, although you will have 4 weeks, feel free to drop it off in person. And that is something we just need to make sure that everybody knows those options before election day. And again, we're kind of in a bubble. We're in a bubble of people who are, we're jumping on to a Facebook Live Sunday night. Like, we're nerds. You're like, ooh, there's,
And we're in a bubble, and it's still complicated. Like, there's still just so many options. Like, for me, I still have to make sure I have like spreadsheets keeping track of all the different things. So that's why It's been so important for us to get the information out because even I get confused.
Yes. And, we want to make sure this last time, a lot of independents were confused on whether or not they could vote. We were really surprised to hear how many people were telling us they thought that they were ineligible to vote because they were independents. And so we want to make sure that our independents know, because we are only talking Democrats or Republicans, or Green Party or Libertarian, we're not often saying independents, we need your votes, but we need you to walk in and choose the Democratic ballot or ask for it. And it doesn't change your voter registration status. It doesn't make you, if you vote as a Democrat, it doesn't make you a Democrat. You just chose the Democratic ballot. And you absolutely have the option of choosing. Actually, you don't have to choose. That's in the primary. I'm so sorry. You won't have to choose at all. Retract that. Everybody will have the same exact ballot. Everybody will have the same ballot.
Yeah, and it looks, Lori said, no need to deliberate this long this time, right?
No,
so you can send them back immediately.
Send back ASAP. And there's going to be a lot of organizations who are sharing really good information. So I'm really, I appreciate you asking what those actions can be. Making sure, check your voter registration right now. Make sure that it's correct, that it's updated, and we should be doing this every single cycle, making sure that we're up to date. And for those of you who might be in the middle of a move, your best option might be voting early at an early voting site. So
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I didn't think about it.
Maria is just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be me. And like,
oh shoot.
oh, that's right. Are you up to date? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, and Judith posted a link to an article that we can look at. So
okay.
We'll follow up with any information that we get. And we've mentioned this a couple times, but for anyone who's jumped on, we will be posting a lot of information for the next 70 days very regularly. And so please share that with your friends and family. And also just know that if you have any questions that we can either answer them or connect you to people that can answer them.
And again, we're always going back to our elected officials and amplifying and supporting what they have to say. And we have some really good ones. We have really good people who are very concerned about your vote, and they want to make sure that your votes are counted. And so we are listening to the experts. We're listening to the data and to the facts and the science behind all of these decisions that are being made. And we are feeling good about going into these next 70 days. And we're gonna see.
And it looks like there aren't any other questions. And it's been a little over 45 minutes. So I want to be respectful of everyone's time.
So we're gonna jump off.
Yeah.
But
get
thank
some
you
dinner.
for joining us. Yeah, my kids made macaroni and cheese.
Aww.
One of my kids made a cheese sauce all by themselves, with me yelling directions from where I'm sitting. And it looks really good. And they brought me a little plate. So.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all that you are doing to help amplify our message and to make sure that people are utilizing and participating in this process. That, sometimes we feel frustrated by it, sometimes we're very angry by it. Whatever it is, whatever those feelings are that we're having right now, it's a lot of fear. And voting is emotional. And being able to think about that and explore that with us is much appreciated. And we love you and we appreciate you so much. So we're going to say goodbye. And thank you again for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a good night.